Hi there gamers! Today in Conan Exiles we're going to go through plants and how to grow them. Even though this is far from a farming simulator, plants only grow in certain parts of the world, and you're going to want to collect the seeds and grow them back at your base. You don't have to run far every time you need something. Let's get started. It's something you can do fairly early on in the game. You only need 1 feet. And it's a little confusing because if you search here for plant, a couple of them come up. First, the apprentice tamer. Well, that's for animals. Here's the peasant. This is the one you actually need. The gardener, which would be the one you think you need. And then the farmer when you get to higher levels. Gardener's at 18. Peasant is also at 18. The gardener is for decorative plants. Everything in here is more of a decorative purpose. Here, the peasant, this is where you want the crude planter. This allows you to actually grow plants. And the compost heap. This allows you to create the fertilizer you're going to need. So we already have our feet here. Well, let's build them some flower pots. They're basically flower pots. You're not digging in the dirt here. This is not a farm simulator. We're going to build some pots. If you look for plant or planter, the crude planter will come up. Takes 25 stone, 5 twine. Let's just go ahead and pump out 3 of those things. Now they're pretty simple. Very much a flower pot. Simple enough. Put them right next to each other. Pretty straight. Getting a little crooked here. That's right. There we go. Crude planter. You press E to open it up. It's a great thing to build when you reach level 18 because by now you've been seeing these seeds and they're all over. And sure, they pretty much don't do anything for you up until this point. But now that you have a huge stockpile of them, let's put them over here in the crude planter. But they are not ready to go yet. They are only partly. They need fertilizer. Where do you get the fertilizer? Well, you make it yourself here in the compost heap. I have a compost heap here ready to go. And there's some compost. Well, we'll just go ahead and take our piece. Also, you'll notice here in the compost heap, grubs kind of just show up after a while. If you've had it up here for a little bit, you'll get a big old pile of grubs. Grubs will help this speed this up. So if you find some grubs, throw 1 or 2 in there to get them going. They'll multiply. You'll have 50 real quick. I like to throw it right by my kitchen because, well, you're always having meat go bad if you're just stockpiling stuff. And you just throw it back over there. Now that we have a piece of compost, you don't need water, you just need compost. And you notice as soon as I put that in there, it used it up and it has started here producing plant fiber from the seeds. So what other things can you grow? Aloe, you'll pick those up and you'll get some aloe bushes. Also early game you're going to find desert berry bush seeds. Pretty, on a rare basis, they're harder to find, but when you do find them, you only need 1 or 2 and you're going to get a huge payoff. We'll show you that. So early game, those are the most common seeds you're going to find. Just regular common seeds which grow plant fiber, aloe, and desert berry bush seeds. Now we'll just wait for some compost. So how do you make compost? Well, you use here a compost heap. Now you can make lots of things in the compost heap, but for right now we're going to just talk about the basic compost that you're going to make. But here it kind of gives you the most simple recipe. You're going to need some plant fibers. You actually need 5 of those. You're going to need some bone meal, which we don't have any here. And we're going to need some putrid meat. We'll actually need 2 of those. So, how do we get bone meal? Bone meal comes from a grinder. So you build a grinder. Grinders are level 17, just before these. So how do you make bone meal? Well, you grind up some bones. So throw in some bones there, and away it goes. Goes pretty quick, actually. You can also throw in fangs from your alligators, crocodiles, and you will get, look how fast bone meal piles up. Ticking away. So let's take our bone meal and we go over here to our compost heap, and as soon as I drop this, it's going to start going. Because you need 4 bone meal. So down here at the bottom is what you need to create 1 piece of compost. It's a great thing to run in the background. After a while, you're just going to get a lot of putrid meat and plant fibers, and you throw in a bunch of bone meal, and you're just going to walk away. Come back later time. I'll have here at this point 12. And then we'll use that over on our plants. So let's just give it a couple minutes and I'll come back to it. Alright, we've been running around for about 20 minutes or so, and that recipe of compost takes 4 minutes to complete. Oh, look at that, a little more than 20 minutes. There we go. 6 compost. And notice we're full back up on grubs. And also in that time, that 1 compost we put has grown into fiber. 1 seed, 10 plant fiber. So you'll end up with a lot of plant fiber. So let's take 1 more compost here. Put that in there, use 1 more seed. And that will give us 10 more plant fiber, which we can then turn around, put into here, as we need half of it. But you pick up so much of the stuff anyway. So, aloe seeds, let's give that some compost and get that going, and now it starts. Now notice if I put a second one, kind of puts it in queue. So you can add several of them in here, and when you come back, you will have some full-grown plants. Let's just use both those up, and now we just have to wait a little while. Well, we've been out being a good barbarian for the night and got some items here to help us recap. So let's go over everything. First, here in our grinder, let's make some more bone meal. Let's drop our bone and our fangs off. We already have 5 here. Let's move that over into our compost heap, along with the plant fibers that we found out in the wild, and any putrid meat that we may have. We don't have any putrid meat on us, amazingly enough, but we have 6 here. Let's add that to the pile. And that creates compost. With the compost, we can grow plants. Looks like we already have some here. I love how they fill up the pot. Already have some great plant fibers here. You can also grow aloe. Really very helpful to be growing your own aloe. It's really what it's about, is getting into higher level plants like aloe and desert berries. If you remember, I put in 2 desert berry seeds. Only one is finished, and we already have 50 desert berries. You dry these will last forever. Eat them now. They only last for an hour. Not very filling, but certainly will last a long time, and you get handfuls of them. You're also used in cooking, the dried versions at least. I found 20 out in the wild, but I didn't find any more seeds. They're kind of rare. I did find some regular seeds. I can throw those in here. I also did not find any aloe, even though I did locate 24 more aloe. So it's not quite a 1-to-1 ratio. You actually get 5 aloe for 1 aloe seed. And we can just put in a few more compost there because we're definitely interested in growing more. You can also use these as decoration pots. They will sit there forever until you pull the plant fiber. I don't really need to grow any more plant fiber. I actually have quite a bit. So I'll just leave it there for decoration. And since I don't have any more seeds, I'll also just leave my berries there for right now because I think they look pretty. Now there's one more thing I want to cover real quick, and that is you can speed the process up a little bit by putting some bees in your planters. You may find that if you leave these things here long enough, you will actually attract bees naturally. I like to stick one of each in there, at least for good measure. Actually, I have quite a few bees here, so let's just leave 3 here. There we go. That will kind of speed the process up. And you may find these bees will show up on their own because you're growing plants, and plants attract bees. There we go, gamers. Hope you enjoyed our little tutorial on planting, getting your plant started in Conan Exiles. We'll see you next time.